was your takeaways from what was finally a winning weekend for the Mets?
These July Mets are awesome, right?
Right.
They're undefeated. No, I think that we can agree that the bullpen is what it is at this point, because even in the games that they won, you still felt like there were these situations where, oh no, were they going to blow it? They didn't. I feel like that's too what stuck out to me Sunday is they tacked on some more runs, and that was thanks in part to who else? Tommy Pham. I mean, he's been awesome. In the month of June, he's hit 349, but if you want to add the games in July, it's better, 366. So I think for him, too, to be so consistent, especially during the rough stretches and as hard as June was, for him to really be one of the more consistent, solid offensive players, and give him credit, earning the opportunity, coming through, and being a name that they can put in this lineup now consistently, and that is hard when your team isn't playing well. So for him to play up and to be, like I said, earning these chances and getting his name in that lineup, he's been really impressive, plain and simple for me.
Elise, you mentioned the bullpen still kind of almost blew it, but you're right. The thing that stood out to me was the way that it didn't devolve from there. It really felt like when the Giants got within one last night, I was like, here we go again. The Mets can't catch a break. Everything goes wrong as the game gets later. And then you're right. They added on Tommy Pham, but also Pete Alonso. The other thing that stood out to me, and I mean this to their credit, Buck Showalter even pointed it out postgame. They're getting a little bit more lucky, a little bit more fortunate. The balls are breaking their way. They're bouncing their way. They're going under the fielder's gloves. They're positioned right to catch the hard hit balls from the other team, because it's not that it's all luck, and it's not that the Mets have been totally unlucky. We've obviously seen some genuine concerning struggles, but they are a talented team. And in some ways, the most concerning part about the first couple months of the season was like, well, where do you even sort of address things when you got to wait for a lot of these players that just sort of play up to their ability.
Right.
And part of that is getting lucky, is getting the breaks to sort of go your way, to benefit from the extra out, to get that extra base on the base paths, to, not give up the hit even when the ball is hit 100 miles an hour. So the fact that they're sort of starting to benefit a little bit more from that luck, I guess, and the bounces and the breaks and all of that.
It felt like they created it a little bit more, too. I felt the at-bats were a little bit more controlled. They weren't pressing, especially when it has been so hard. They were taking their walks, fouling pitches off more, and that was kind of something else I noticed from them.
Yeah, and there is a difference between not having good players on a team and not having good players playing well on a team. They have good players, just got to start playing well, and they did catch some breaks finally. I mean, if they blew that game 5-1 last night, I'm quitting. I can't take it anymore with the way they're blowing these leads late in the game. Luckily, they did not do that, and that's a credit to not only the bullpen, but obviously the offense, adding on those extra runs late in the game. Let's make the call to the bullpen and welcome in Jerry Blevins. Jerry, what do you think of David Peterson last night? He was really good his first start back. Last night was okay, but enough to trust him moving forward in this rotation?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, enough to give him some more length. I mean, he was one of the big reasons why the Mets were so inconsistent in the beginning, because they leaned on him for depth. And when Quintana went down and then Verlander wasn't ready to start, they really needed Peterson and McGill to both be one of those guys. And David Peterson took a major step back. He looked incredible in his first start back, and he looked pretty solid. I think they might have let him go considering how shaky the bullpen truly has been, because he looked decently solid. I think moving forward, I think they'll let him get a little bit more length. But I've been impressed. This is the David Peterson I think was going to be there, and I like his attitude moving forward. I think he's going to be a big part of their second half. If they're going to bounce back, he's going to be a big part of it.